Hi everyone, my name is Vince Gelman, and as you can see, I'm standing in this beautiful forest in front of this beautiful cedar tree. And I hope that what I'm going to share with you today can be of support to you in your journey of healing and awakening. The topic is needs, having needs, expressing needs, the courage it takes to ask for what we need. And it takes courage because it's very vulnerable to express our needs. It's vulnerable to say the words, I need. Really, we open our heart, don't we? And it's vulnerable because of what we experience in childhood that would cause us to close down to our needs, to deny our needs. So, for many of us who grew up in an unsafe home, and I don't mean necessarily physically unsafe, I mean emotionally unsafe, or it wasn't safe to be ourselves. It wasn't safe to ask for what we need due to neglect, due to abuse, due to simply a toxic, environment. We had to suppress our needs to survive that. We had to deny them. We had to pretend that we didn't have any at all because the pain of having a need and expressing it and then having that need not met was just so hard. It was so hard. I'll say that again. Having a need, expressing the need, and then having that need not met. Again and again, it's just so hard on children that to cope with that, they suppress their needs. They act like they don't have any needs at all. And what you can imagine then happens is the child grows up into a teen, into an adult, and into someone who basically communicates to the world, I got it. I don't need anything. I'm independent. I'm not going to ask for help. I'm not going to ask for what I want. You see, for this person, the pain of expressing a need and not having that need met outweighs the pain of not having any needs at all. The pain of having a need, expressing it, and not having that need met outweighs the pain of not having any needs at all or acting like I don't have any needs. So the person adapts, as we all do, to mitigate that pain. And in this case, the person, becomes fiercely independent. And so you can imagine how that impacts their relationships, how it impacts their romantic relationships, their relationships with their friends, with their coworkers. There's a wall. I can't let you in. And I'm not going to ask for what I need because chances are you're going to disappoint me. And that's a common thing I've seen with my clients is just the fear of disappointment. I'm going to be disappointed again. And I just don't want to feel that. So I'm just not even going to bother asking. But what happens when someone doesn't feel comfortable asking for what they need in a world where they do have to ask for certain things, because you're eventually going to have to ask for something, is we ask for what we don't want. We come home to a messy home, dishes all over the place, laundry on the floor, and we scream, could you please stop being so messy? Can you please stop being so disorganized? So what we've done, many of us, is we ask for what we don't want. Could you please stop? We ask for what we don't want. There's a saying that a complaint is an unspoken request. So the complaint is a form of protecting us from the vulnerability of saying, I need. See, it's very different. It's very vulnerable to say, honey, I'm feeling hurt because the laundry's all over the floor again and the dishes are dirty. It's far more vulnerable to say that than to say, why is everything such a mess? Could you please stop being so filthy? It's much more vulnerable to say, I have a need for shared responsibility. And what that looks like is this. So the word need really points to It can point to opening up a wound in us, a memory of all the times we didn't get our needs met earlier on. And because we are in the business of protecting those wounds, that's the way we survive and adapt in a very challenging human existence. We just deny having needs at all. So there's kind of three pieces of healing and empowerment to changing this pattern. Three pieces that I call healing and empowerment within this context of needs. The first is to recognize that you actually do have needs, and you have a right to have needs. That's an important sentence. I have a right to have needs. I have a right to need. Number two is to be able to know what those needs are. So instead of, looking at a messy home and saying disorganized, flip it around and you find you have a need for organization. You have a need for shared responsibility. So one simple tool is we can look at what we're complaining about and flip it around. If someone is always late, we could say, why are you always so late? Or we could turn it around and we can say punctuality is a need. But underneath punctuality is actually a deeper need of respect. So what we're actually asking for is respect. I have a need for respect. I don't feel respected when you show up late. It bothers me, it hurts me, so I have a need for respect. And what that looks like is you showing up right at 9 a.m. to pick me up. So step one is knowing that you have a right to have needs. Number two is knowing what those needs are. Common core needs are respect, connection, love, touch, affection, safety, feeling heard, feeling seen, recognition. These are common needs for people. And we share all these needs. These are core to every human being. So it's good to actually have a list of needs that you can turn to when you're new on this path of reclaiming your needs, so you can better articulate what's actually going on for you and what your needs are. The third stage, so let me repeat the stages. Stage one is I have a right to have needs. Number two is I need to know what the need is. And stage three is I need to have, and I'm saying I need, I need to have the skill to express that need. I need to have a communication skill. So what we're talking about now is communication skills. And how many of us have done communication training? Not many people have done communication training. So we actually don't have that skill either, which makes it even harder to express needs. I used to train people for years on communication, and I was astounded at how hard it was for people to express the simplest things. And part of it was because they didn't know what their needs were. Part of it was just they didn't have the training. I personally believe that in school, it would be really good if we could have some training, some education on how to communicate. Keep in mind that we grew up in a home where often our parents are not modeling healthy, sensitive, kind, compassionate communication. So, and then we go into a school system where maybe our teachers are not treating us with the respect we need, and our friends are not treating us with the respect and the kindness we need. So we learn how not to communicate in a healthy way. So communication training, learning the nuances of how to express yourself, I think is really important, certainly within the context of expressing your needs. So if I was to give you two simple tools on how to express needs, or two simple ways, I would say number one is you can say, I have a need for. I have a need for respect. I have a need for punctuality. I have a need for shared responsibility. I have a need to be heard. I have a need for you to really hear me and listen to me in full before jumping in with your comments. I have a need for. The other way, which is generally more common, is we say I need. I need respect. I need you to help out. I need you to take care of this report. You can also say, I want. You know, I want has a different flavor than need. Um, in my opinion, need has a higher degree of vulnerability. Um, and I think part of the reason why is because it really goes back to our childhood where we were so need driven. We were so need driven and so wounded from not having those needs met. A lot of people judge having needs. They consider it needy. I'm needy if I have needs. Again, that's another way that we protect ourselves from the truth that we have needs. Everybody has needs. So just check in with yourself if you have any self-judgment around having needs, and if you call yourself needy. So I just wanted to give that to you as an overview of why it's difficult for so many people to access and express needs. It's so common in our society for people to struggle to really connect within, with their authenticity, with their truth of what they need. So I hope this is of support to you. I hope that this helps you in your relationships, in your self-care, in your empowerment, in your knowing that you have a right. You have a right to have needs. And in owning that you have a right to have needs, you own that you have a right to exist to a whole different level. And that you don't have to be protective as much as you are used to with this armor of I don't need anything. You can slowly, through your healing and awakening journey, your journey of empowerment, you can slowly let people into the part of you that does have needs, into the vulnerability, into the tenderness of your own heart that actually wants to express needs and needs to express needs. And there is a good place to end, is that you just might discover that you have a need to express needs. You have a need to need. Thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click notifications. And I wish you well in your journey of connecting to and expressing your needs. Thank you.